Chicago Bears trade rumors continue to persist as rookies and a good mix of veterans practice for the last set of OTAs. Gabriel brought this up last week. He brought up the Bears trade rumors and potentially adding Giants pass rusher Kayvon Thibodeux. Bears fans almost unanimously agree that this team needs another pass rusher at edge. Whether that's Kayvon Thibodeux, Trey Hendrickson, or anyone else, I think Deo Odangbo is clearly being underrated right now, and he's a guy who I think has a chance to be a difference maker in 2025. Here's me and Gabriel talking about Kayvon Thibodeux.
There's one other thing I want to bring up. We talked about it 2 weeks ago, and I thought about it a lot, and then I looked at what could be coming up in the draft. We talked about Thibodeux, and granted, this is strictly fantasy football because we don't
Thibodeux, pass rusher Giants.
Yeah, I mean we don't know what is going to be exactly what's going to be available, or is he going to be available? Are the Giants going to want to move him? But from what I've seen so far, let's say the Bears are picking somewhere in the lower half of the first round. There isn't a pass rusher in this coming draft that's as good as him that you're going to get in the second half of the first round.
True.
So as it stands right now, there could be somebody jump out.
Yeah, always.
I'm just looking at this from what you think is going to be available. There's a couple guys that'll probably be top 10, top 12 guys. But if the Bears are as good as people think they're going to be, and they're picking on the other side of 20, they're not going to get a guy that good.
Yeah.
So does it make sense to use your one to get that guy if in fact he becomes available?
Kayvon Thibodeux, to me, if I did pull a trade like that, I would want to do it this year because I would want to get the 2 years of production from him before having to get into extension talks. Now, you can obviously work out the extension early, but just like Ryan Poles,
they picked up his 5th year. I didn't think they were going to when they made that pick of Carter, but like the next day they picked up his 5th year. But I think part of that was really to help a trade situation, if in fact that's what they want to do. Now, I think they got to be careful, because of the stress fracture that Carter had. People say he didn't have surgery, so it wasn't stabilized through surgery. They just let nature heal on its own. But history says something like that could pop again. And so you got to have protection in case that happens too.
And I think that's one reason why they did pick up that 5th year is it gives them more time. They could even keep Kayvon all year this year and then work to trade him in the offseason after Abdul Carter's had a whole year in the NFL. And then what you have in him, how his ankle's feeling and all those things. But it is a very interesting topic. I know Bears fans all are looking for, I think everyone agrees the biggest need on this roster right now would be another edge rusher. I know we signed Deo Odangbo, but as far as a guy who can get after the quarterback opposite of Montez Sweat and be a 8 to 10 sack a year guy, I don't know if we really have that on the roster right now at defensive end. Some people can hope that Austin Booker or someone.
Yeah, I'm not going to count him. I'm not going to count him out. You go look at the history of some pass rushers, and some guys that are pretty good pass rushers. They weren't much different than he was as a rookie.
Yeah,
and he had it. Now he could have gone back for another year, so he came out early, and so you're getting him young. You got him when he was undersized. He probably wasn't really ready. But at the same time, you got to develop him on your dime where you would have paid more for him a year later, had he gone in this draft. So, that how he develops is really going to be interesting. Personally, I like him. I think there's a lot of upside. But, we got to see it for real.
Yeah. But, Kayvon Thibodeux, I personally believe the Giants keep him for this year. But if he does become available via trade, I would definitely offer a 2nd round pick to start. I'd be a little hesitant giving away my first next year, but I'd give away the second immediately, but I'm with you. Definitely would be in talks if that was the price they wanted a first round pick next year, and they would trade him before camp this year or in camp this year. Definitely something I would consider, and I think Ryan Poles might look into that as well.
Yeah, and they may know already that New York may want to move him.
True, 100%.
The Bears.